At some point you do have to take a stand and just cut it out and call it out for what it is. I don't see it as being weak. I don't see it as you're not a man or you can't take jokes. Everyone can take a joke, but on a persistent nature of these comments being hurled your way, I think it's only fair that you call it out. My name's Jono, I'm a dogman rigger. I've been on strike at the QUBE picket line for 4 weeks now, and I'm fighting for a better culture.
Keep working, deserve better! Keep working, deserve better! Keep working, deserve better! Keep working, deserve better!
QUBE Heavy Lift has a contract with Vestas. Part of their contract is to supply wind farm or wind turbine components. We've been working under an agreement that's been expired now for about 14 months. The negotiations with the union and QUBE started really taking place around January of this year. QUBE weren't budging on a lot of the terms and conditions we had in our proposal and our logger claims. We voted up to engage in protected action. We decided to do a 48 out the gate. All of those who engaged in that protected action, that second day of action, were re-inducted on this policy of behavioural or acceptable workplace behaviour. And so, yeah, we were lectured by a couple of members of management on what is acceptable workplace behaviour policy. I chose not to sign that because the hypocritical nature of this policy being applied now. These same bosses who are trying to lecture us on acceptable workplace behaviour policy have violated this document, by racially vilifying me. The comments and slurs that I had to be subjected to were, one was of being called Somalian pirate. I guess they saw that as an easy fix due to my race. Yeah, like I said, at first you just kind of laugh it off, but then at second time, when you hear it 3, 4, 5 times, yeah, it doesn't feel good. I was born here. I'm a proud Australian. But, those comments made me question and feel as if, am I not Australian enough? I was stood down. I was contacted by a member at the HR team asking for particulars on, who has said this, who, what, where, when, why, or even witnesses. And, a few days later I did give her all that particular information via email. And she said she'd be investigating that right away. Unfortunately, it's been about, I think about four weeks now since I sent that letter. And I have heard peep. It's pretty much been radio silence from this investigator. Me being on the picket line, I see some of these same bosses who had said these things driving past and going to work when really I'm the one who was stood down. Those bosses haven't been stood down. There hasn't been any repercussion or consequences. Hence why I'm here, because all that they have done by doing that is confirm my lack of faith in them. The thing with a policy is that it should be both ways. It should apply to all the workers, the office staff, the workers on the ground, management. It shouldn't be used as just a tick and flick, and it shouldn't be used against workers, trying to fight for fair wages and conditions. We think it's important to not just leave leave this problem to someone else. What we've realised since we've started all of this is that it's not actually just us who work at QUBE. We're not actually just fighting for ourselves and our future, we're actually fighting for the entire mobile crane industry. If we're not willing to fight for that, who is?